there in podcast world. I hope you're having a great day. You're listening to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Tersh. Today we have an awesome episode. We're going to talk about sales. I know that that's the no word in our industry. Sales is bad. It's not really. We're not talking sales, how to sell, how to con somebody out of money. You know, all the bad terms that you hear in the service industry. We're going to talk about managing your sales team. So even if you have your service experts that are selling, today we have Rene Zamora, and he is the author of Part-Time Sales Management, which is a great book. But we're talking about the management of the salespeople and how to manage those people, and just making sure that everybody is on the same accord. And we're probably gonna dive a little bit into remote, just being remote in general, because Rene works remote currently. We're 100% remote, and right now with everything going on, it's March 25th of 2020, and we have this pandemic going on, and everybody's having to work remote. So we're gonna touch a little bit on that, but we're not gonna harp on it too much. But I just want to welcome you to the show, Rene.
Hey man, it's good to be here. Looking forward to help. That's what I do. How can I help?
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your background and why you are an expert in this field. Other than, I mean, you've also been doing this since 2006. So
Sure. It's funny, you think back. I don't know how many salespeople, like, during school and high school, and they're going, hey, where do you want to go to college? Or what do you want to be? I want to be a salesperson. I mean, there's a few. One of my best friends, Martin Myslinsky, he was one of those. He was doing real estate at 18. But that wasn't my thing, but I just started. I got into these workshops early in my career that was a lot of volunteer stuff, and I just had a knack at signing people up.
Wow.
So I said, oh, wow, I'm okay with that. But I still wasn't looking for a sales job. But anyways, my first job, I needed some money, and someone was offering money to go sell something. So I started doing that, and that's what started me. And I sold in the Silicon Valley for many years, and that's when I got into cellular business, and the cellular business got me into a management role up in Washington and Oregon.
Wow.
I loved managing and leading other people. I mean, I coached kids for 15 years in soccer because I just like, guiding and coaching and encouraging people to do their best. And then when I kind of was done with that, I decided to start training people on high performance and leadership management.
Yeah.
And then I just said, you know what? I need to get back to a team. I want to work with people, not just train them and send them on their way. I want to actually lead that team again. I miss that. And so sales manager now was formed. Someone gave me a crazy idea, and I said, I'm going to do it. And ever since then, all my clients have come to me, and now I've hired another consultant, and I want to hire more and more. And so I decided I'm going to promote a little. I couldn't promote before because I had enough clients.
Yeah.
So I've learned how to manage part-time with like 5 or 6 different clients at a time. And so they all get a piece of my day, and their teams do, and we move teams forward. So that's kind of my background there.
That's sweet. That's awesome. So yeah. So what would you say to someone who is like me, and anybody that's listening to this episode, they know, unless you've never listened to an episode before, if you haven't, welcome to the show. If you have, you know that I'm not a quote unquote salesperson. I'm an extreme introvert, and I tend to, I close deals because I'm the business owner. But if I was a salesperson, like we talked about earlier, if I was a salesperson and that was my career, I would be homeless because I'm horrible at sales in general, the quote unquote sales process.
Yeah.
What could we do as technicians to get away from that, the thought process of like, here's the price, I'm going to go to work, like just throw the ticket at somebody and then hope for the best type thing. Okay,
well, everyone's going to have to get some magic dust first off, because it ain't going to be that easy. But let me tell you this though. The first thing is change your focus. So if you went to my site, one of the first things I created when I was working with some industries that were more service oriented, a lot of banks and things, have their tellers doing some sales, and some of them are comfortable and you could tell some of them aren't. you know, and it's because they like to serve people. So there's something on my website at salesmanagernow.com that you can just read over. It's called service-minded selling, and it's really geared towards you guys that just like to serve. You know, you just want to serve. Just tell me what to do so I could do it really well, and that's really what I want to do. You know, but unfortunately, for you that you know, are more service than sales, you know, you have to get that agreement, that contract to do that work. So the first thing to focus on that what you're there at this moment. Put a different hat on and say you're not here to convince anyone. You're here to help them make a decision. So you're helping them, just like you help them make a decision about where something should be installed, you know, how much power or where pipes should be run, whatever industry you're in. You're helping someone make a decision. So if you put that mind frame on, that's what you're there to do. And so how do you make decisions? Well, you guys are technicians are really good at providing information. That's, you know, and people trust you. People need to be able to trust you to make a good decision. And that's one of the things you have going on for yourself, because you're the guys that are actually doing the work. So you're way ahead of the person who's not. But then you have to say, to help someone make a decision, sometimes someone needs to ask a question, you know? So once you get done presenting everything, the real good questions, rather than saying, you know, when you want to decide on this, I like saying, hey, when would you like to have this work completed? Not started. When would you like to have this work completed? Go to the end date. Get that little vision of where, you know, how they see it done, you know? And then you work backwards. Okay, well, shoot, if you wanted it completed by the end of the month, we would probably need to get started by mid-month, you know, or whenever your timeline is. And so probably need a decision, you know, this week if you wanted to do something like that. And so where do you want to go from here? I mean, you could, if you're confident enough to just say, should we get this thing started? Go ahead, say that. If that doesn't come out of your mouth, then just say, where do we go from here? But at least ask them, where do we go from here?
So
you know, it can be that easy.
Have you had, I've heard this term before, but I don't know if you feel like it resonates with you as well. Like, just be quiet and let the silence do the talking. Do you ever
Absolutely.
do that? Okay.
All the time. I mean, I'm facilitating meetings over Zoom, you know, and sometimes people have cameras and it's easy for me to see them. Sometimes they don't. And I'm very comfortable with that quiet. I mean, people are quiet is good. People are thinking. Don't mess it up.
Most of the times you're uncomfortable, and then you start like the diarrhea of the mouth, and it's like start talking about SEER rating and all this super technical stuff, and it goes way over their head, and then all of a sudden they're confused. And most people don't realize that your brain has a fight or flight mentality, and so if you overload it, it's going to fight or flight. It's trying to decide, okay, am I going to go away, or am I just going to shut down? Am I going to start arguing? And so when you start just rambling on the super technical stuff just to fill the dead air and fill the silence, you could be shooting yourself in the foot as far as like closing your deal that you need to do. And it doesn't have to be like a $15,000 or $20,000 system replacement. It could be just a $200 service ticket, you know, and they're just trying to decide whether or not they want to do it. And you don't know what's going on in their mind, because for all you know, they could be thinking, do I really want to put money in this, or should I ask him how much it would cost to replace the system? And then you go and you just keep blah, 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 and diarrhea of the mouth. And you're just like, don't shut up. And then next thing you know, they're like, you know what, we're just going to hold off on everything. And you just threw like a $10,000 system out the window because you just couldn't be comfortable with being quiet.
Hey, Tersh, we're gonna have to like call you on this. Like, I'm not a good salesperson. I'm just an owner. That's your in. That's your in. People trust you.
No, I really am picking up on all of this.
I hear you.
I'm picking. Honestly, though, it's having people like you on here and others that have said things like that, and it's just I pick up on that, and I'm trying to practice it in my role here. And you know, maybe we're closing more deals with me going out there because I'm starting to implement more and more of these things that experts like you are mentioning. But a year ago, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, a year ago that I definitely was horrible at sales. And I'm still not comfortable with it. So
Well, let me share something with you. Yes, you're right. When you're the owner of the business, what that does goes back to my first premise. It helps someone make a decision because they're like at the final decision maker. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, but most of the people out there aren't that, right?
Right.
So you have to use a few more skills. You brought up a good technique on that. Silence. And there's two. It's a double-edged sword. You start talking, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. If you stop and let the silence there, think of it like lifting weights. You're working out. See how long you can go. So just keep practicing that. It doesn't mean that it gets comfortable. I'm serious.
Okay, well that's good to know.
It just means you just get used to it, but it still has that little awkward feeling. But you get over it, and the bottom line is you're helping someone. If you interrupt, you're not. If you shut up, you're helping someone make a decision. And remember that. That's what we're doing, helping people.
So with your business and the way that because you mentioned already that you do this over Zoom, and so you can do it worldwide. How exactly are you managing other teams remotely like that?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, they're usually two ways. The teams are either in one room where I see them in a conference room on a weekly basis, or they're all in their own homes or offices, and we just show up in little tiles across the Zoom video screen. And so we have weekly sales meetings, monthly one-on-one meetings. My email and phone is open all day long to anyone who needs any attention. Early on in the business, this whole business was brand new when I started it. There's other people doing this stuff now, but I just said I wanted to give at least 50% of my day. I wanted to have open with no meetings because I wanted to be available. People need their manager to call and email now and then, and so that still goes on. And so I just that's the framework. But really, what we do is we help the salespeople. First off, I understand what the business goals are, so I get really aligned with where the company wants to go and maybe where they've been having a hard time getting to. And then I bring those goals into the team. So we're real strategic, making sure all the team has their particular goals, if it's activity or results, things they need to improve on. So we get all dialed in to each person is working towards a team goal and individual goals. And then in those meetings, we learn from each other. It isn't about cracking a whip. It's like you hire people that want to get the job done, and then you tell them what the job is, real specific. The measurements of those things, the activity and the results, those are measurements that we're monitoring. And when you monitor things and show them in a meeting, like this is how many conversations you had, this is how many closed, this is how many you followed up on, this is how many didn't follow up. It's not about making someone, putting pressure on them or the whip. No, man, it's just about information. It's about information to help people make a decision again. I want that technician or salesperson to say, Joe's got a different percentage than I do. How do you do that? How'd you do that? And then we have them talk and learn from each other, and they get better, and then they go do their job.
Yeah, that's cool. So
people are adults.
Right. Yeah, I mean, from time to time, there are going to be people that you have to push and nudge to get from point A to point B. But for the most part, people, they like the accountability. I feel like most people that I talk to that have less successful, even service departments or whatnot, even us, like whenever we are struggling, and we look back, we haven't held the service experts accountable. And then as soon as you start holding them accountable, like they don't fight back about being held accountable. They actually start to perform better because they know what metrics they're being held to. And I think that's something that should resonate with everybody. Like, even if you're not going to hire you to do the sales, you need to be making sure that you're holding your whole team accountable and that they know how they're going to be held accountable. So it's not a guess, like, surprise, you failed at this task and they're like, wait a minute, I didn't know I was being judged against that task, and it's like, well, now you do, and you suck. So so
Tersh, I could say that for those guys that are, most of the folks, are going to keep running their own teams. That's fine. That's what the book's there for. Part-time Sales Manager was written for small business owners that don't have a lot of time And the whole premise was, if I could share my time with multiple companies, you can share your time with your business and a little portion of it with your sales team. So they're doing what you'd want them to do. So that book
Yeah.
is designed so you can manage your team in 10 to 20 hours a month. Part-time sales management is designed for that. And my heart and soul is in there.
Yeah, I like
So
it.
if you order that book,
You're gonna get it.
take it.
So what do you find is like the smallest sales team that you typically start taking on? I mean, is it somebody who already has two? Oh, okay. So one salesperson. Okay, cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, our it's not like everyone. Like our key client is really around 3, and you
Okay.
can see our fees and everything on our line and everything. It kind of has the metric on how many salespeople cost whatever.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
anything below 3, I say give me a call. But yeah, I'm coaching the guy with one salesperson right now. It's a little different structure, but he needed it, and we're taking care of him.
Cool. Yeah, because for me, like I honestly wouldn't know how to manage a salesperson. Uh, um, where I was GM before, we had a sales manager who was the owner. So I was GM, but then the owner actually took the sales managing position.
Yeah.
And I know that I don't typically like salespeople, and so like that person I did like, but typically whenever it's me managing people, it's like usually somebody I have to like, almost in a sense.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
most salespeople that I meet, I don't really trust them. I don't really like them. And so that's a hurdle that I have to cross myself. And so, not saying that I would push everybody off onto you, but you know, if I'm more successful, if you were doing it, I'd be much happier if you were doing it than me.
Well, so I got to tell you that what the first chapter in the book is. Then it's
Mhm.
about beliefs. And so you just described your quote unquote what I'll call negative beliefs about salespeople.
Okay.
And with so I challenge the owners to confront themselves right now. And even if you're not going to manage your team, just you got to deal with like what beliefs do not support your goals,
Hmm.
and you got to adjust those because
Yeah.
you're the head honcho, man. Your beliefs translate out throughout the company,
Whether you
and
want them
so
to or not, like if it just
they
goes
always
that way.
are.
Yeah, always, man.
Yep.
So, where can people find your book if they're wanting to pick up a copy of that?
They can find it on Amazon, Part-Time Sales Management. They can learn a little bit more on my website about the book, or they can get hundreds of blogs there at salesmanagernow.com. Little free download for just you just want a little simpler guide to some principles to help you manage your team. There's a sales management guide you could download there, and you'd be registered onto my monthly sales blog and get some info there. I hope you get a sense from me is my I'm not the typical. Well, all good salespeople aren't that guy that we don't like.
Right,
They're
right, right.
good.
Yeah.
Most of them are good. It's just those few, that give us a bad name. Just
Uh-huh.
like service industry, there's a few people that aren't honest, right? Give
Yep.
you a bad name.
100%.
There you go.
Yeah, I like it. So, if people want to connect with you more, learn more about you, where's the best place for them to go?
The website,
Okay.
salesmanagernow.com. They can find all the contact information. You can schedule, if you just wanted to talk through a situation, you can schedule something with me. You want to shoot me an email with the question, do that. You just want to read, and play it safe, go ahead and do that. Whichever way, it's there for you.
Cool, Rene. I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything with us and our audience.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate having me on the show, and everyone out there, be safe and
Absolutely.
go serve somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And for anybody, if you have any more questions, like Rene said, salesmanagernow.com is his website. Connect with him there. Pick up a copy of his book, either on Amazon or wherever books are sold. And then if you have any other questions that don't pertain to sales, reach out to me, Tersh at serviceemperor.com. And that's my new email. But if you still use my old email, it doesn't matter. It still forwards to it. But reach out to me. And if you're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, connect. Love to connect with everybody. And I'd love to learn more about the audience and talk and interact. And And if you have any questions about anything else, feel free to reach out and don't hesitate to give us a call. But with that being said, I hope you have a great day and you're safe out there. Like Rene said, with everything going on, it's kind of a wild world right now. So just stay safe and help somebody if you can. So with that being said, thank you again for listening to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. The podcast focused on service business owners, managers, and technicians who are considering becoming business owners themselves. Until we talk again, have a great day.